sometimes even shorter, sometimes a bit relatively long. So today shorter, not that much shorter, like say 40 minutes. First class 40 minutes, and second class is even less than 40 minutes. So by 10, by no, not by 10, 10, 20 past 10 or something. Two classes are back to back. So like to first is, let's do literature first and then we'll do linguistics later. In literature, in the last class, I remember that we discussed thematic analysis of selling to budget. We've been dealing with this form for 3 weeks in a row. So it might seem to you that we've been doing it for a bit longer time. Sometimes, it's very natural because, to get deeper, we may spend some time for over a single poem. So if this demands a little deeper analysis, so we repetition of this, because I already have sent this. You can spend some time over it and get ideas about the thematic analysis. So now moving to stylistic analysis again. Stylistic analysis and using the linguistic theories, linguistic terminologies and perspectives, analyzing literature has become quite common nowadays. Not only in the current time, but for quite some time. It's a modernist approach, you can say, or contemporary approach. You can apply many other contemporary approaches, but those are definitely not in our scope, because we don't afford to do that for a short time. There's a post-structural analysis, postmodern analysis, and there might be various analysis as well. So statistic is something which combines both linguistics knowledge and literary knowledge, so it will help you in understanding poetry from the linguistic perspective. And linguistics is something everywhere very useful, so you can definitely use it in professionals. Literary poetic devices in saving to budget. Now here, let's straight go to the point. When there are two or more words close together in a line, beginning with the alliteration. So first alliteration is not a stylistic analysis in a strict sense, like beginning analysis of those. So second comes more, it's kind of total stylistic analysis. So this is partly a stylistic analysis. So we're not going for an entire analysis. Yeah. So alliteration first. It's about sound. You can say phonology. When there are two or more words close together in a line, beginning with the begin with the same consonant, they are alliterative. You know that, bringing texture and interest to the reader or the reader. In this form, selling to budget term, we have got this alliteration: fish, fetch, out, go to, born, singing. Just passing over quickly. School, but studying. Sages, standing. Grecian, goldsmith, lords, ladies, past, and all passing. Now, assonance. In some places, I'll just dwell longer. In some places, I'll be quicker. But this passing. When words close together in a line have similar sounds, sounding vowels, Salmon falls here, the middle. You have to look for the consonants in the middle vowel. Salmon falls. The mackerel, crowded, clap its hands, goat, mosaic. You can see in the middle the vowels. These are the consonants. These are for green consonants. Kesura. Kesura. Perhaps you are familiar with this term. And it means, let's see, when a line has a punctuation roughly midway and the reader has to pause, for example, whatever is begotten and dies. Here, look, in the middle is single line of the poem, saluted by it. So whatever is begotten, comma, born, and dies. Now, all in all, what Kisura means is that when you find the punctuation marks in the middle of the line, it's called Kisura. Punctuation means you have to stop here. It might be comma, it might be semicolon. Sometimes it's semicolon. So that's the Kisura. That is, you have to give a pause. Normally, in the line of a poem, there's no pause. It is uninterrupted flow, unremittent flow. So there's no punctuation mark, but if there is one, that's called Kisura. Enjambment. Enjambment is another term. Let's see. The line runs on into the next with no punctuation and the sense is maintained. It is enjambment. That is, a line doesn't end the sentence. The sentence goes on into the next line also. So one sentence might be in 3 lines, 2 lines. It's enjambment. It is enjambment. The reader is encouraged to carry on as if there is no line break at all. In the third stage here, there are 3 lines, all enjambment. Let's see, all enjambed. Consume my heart away, sick with desire. There is a Kisura here. And fastened to a dying animal, it knows not what it is, and gather me into the artifice of eternity. Here, gather me, it continues into. So this line, syntactically or structurally, runs on, also, and connects with this one also. There is no end of this structure. So when there's a continuous structure, it's enjambment simply. So sentence structure. Because in poetry, syntax in poetry is very much sometimes compromised. Poets often manipulate or distort, disfigure, reconfigure, or reshape the usual syntactic structure. The poet has a poetic license to do all these changes to the syntactic, usually accepted syntactic structure. Or in other words, poet might flout the syntactic rules, means break. So for the effect of the poetry, artistic effect, you might say. Metaphor. The whole poem is a metaphorical journey. The ideal city of Vajutia, specific metaphors, dying animal, the physical body. These are the metaphors. Dying animal. So dying animal it metaphorizes. It is a metaphor because it includes all. It means all human kinds, or human generation, or young generation. Dying animal. The physical body also includes all the whole material world. So it's kind of one thing stands for the other thing, other kind of thing. Something stands for other kind of thing. That is a metaphor. Tattered coat upon a stick, an old man. It is a kind of cliche metaphor. It's kind of very over familiar, worn out concept, tattered coat. In other languages used, in Bangla languages used. Something is neglected, something is neglected. We compare them with tattered coat or something. Country, reality, the real world. So these are all Now, how is country metaphor, country, reality, the real world? Here, this country is a metaphor of this reality, the real world, country. Country is just one country, but whole world it indicates. So it's kind of metaphor. What personification? What is personification? Any idea? What is personification?
Yes, sir. When we personify any object.
Yeah, personify.
Like it is a person. Only characteristics of a person personified.
Yeah, right. So unless soul clap its hands and sing and louder sing, so how this personifies soul? Soul is personified here. Okay. Though soul is a part of human, but still soul alone cannot clap its hands. Soul doesn't have hands, but very obviously or manifestly, soul has these hands connected. So the soul is invested with human hands, as if it can clap. What is the form? What is the form structure of Selective Byzantium? Selective Byzantium is an autobarima. Autobarima is a form that is, the stanzas have 8 lines, and traditionally a rhyming schema.
Sir, what's the meaning of
autobarima? Autobarima, okay?
Autobarima, yes.
Autobarima is, it's a foreign term, most probably Italian term. This is an important into English literature. This means autobar associated with each autobar. And rama is associated with rights. So when there are 8 foot, that is called autobarima. But now 8 lines. So when a poem is written in stanzaic patterns, stanzas, and each stanza consists of 8 lines, that's called autobarima. Each stanza consists of 8 lines. Can you tell what is the term to describe 2 lines stanza? It is called couplet of stanza. There is a
the second coming.
No.
The second coming was.
There is a term, not English term. This is a Japanese term. In Japan, there is a tradition. English writers have borrowed from there the tradition. Haiku, and they have a haiku. Haiku is written in 2 lines, so that's called couplet. Couplet. So that's the tradition. Sonnet, for example. Sonnet is used in sonnet. Something like that. So each type of poems has kind of stanzaic patterns. Some stanza may have 6 lines. So this is autobarima. Selective autobarima. Here, some of the rhymes are full song, long, sing, whilst some are slangs. It's written, there's a rhyming pattern here. Full rhyme. Like song rhymes with long. Sing rhymes with sing. So it is a complete rhyming scheme we find here. Especially at the outer end, last end of the line. While some are slant means partly rhymes, not fully. Suppose dress, magnificence. There's some kind of similarity, but not fully. One is difference in size. Number 2, different size of the word. Number 3 is also sound doesn't entirely match. Like one is dress, one is magnificence. It's kind of little similarity, while which brings both harmony and dissonance to certain parts of the poem. The rhyming couplets are full rhyme. Like this. These are again some examples of full rhyme. Neglect, intellect, me, eternity. Me, eternity is kind of on the side of full rhyme, you might say as well. Me, eternity. Bringing definite closure and solidifying expectation. What is the meter Bitter in American, spelling difference in American. Right. Selling to budget. What is the bitter? Selling to budget term is supposed to have iambic pentameter lines, as is traditional in the autograph form. The autograph form, the traditional is iambic pentameter, but here there are differences in this form actually. Mainly iambic pentameter, but there are some exceptions. We'll see that. We'll see in a nutshell. Not in details, but short we'll see. However, many lines break this steady bit, where the first syllable is unstressed and the second is stressed. But many lines break this steady bit where the first syllable is unstressed and the second is stressed. First is unstressed, second is unstressed. It is the iambic, the characteristic of iambic. Iambic means syllables, two syllables which are unstressed followed by stress, right? Iambic is two syllable word. Let's look closer at the subtle lines. That is no country for old men, the young. So for the Bengali speakers, it is difficult to know where to break the syllables. For example, it is a kind of given. This example is a given. Here, it's difficult unknowingly divide this syllables to slash syllables. They like the way they have done no gun and they have divided gun. So one who is very highly expert about this syllabic and stress patterns of the language, they can know this, but still there are possibilities of making mistakes. And no two persons' identification of this sectioning will match. I guess there will be always chances of differences. So, for example, it is divided up to that. It's okay. It's easy to divide. No country here. How on earth you know that it should be on a come? But yes, it makes sense. No come. Tree is separated and it has been connected or kept in form. Old men find easy to separate. The young is easy to separate. Okay, and one another. This should be one line actually. That's font. Speed. Just a second. That is another one is in one another sounds. Here also another. You see the way it is divided. In one another, it has been kept separate. There is only one syllable here. It has been prompted as one syllable. As arms. So anyway, the first line begins with the trochee. Though it should be iambic pentameter, you spend some time on meters, it will be easy for you. Meters have this nature that you may forget it. You may tend to forget it, but if you practice it, you can remember. Suppose that is, it should be the iambic pentameter, but that is actually stressed. It is a trochee. Trochee, like iambic, trochaic, spondy, anapestic, there are 5 types. So by practicing, you can get hold of this. Capture this. So that is a stressed one. So it is definitely it is not iambic because iambic is stressed first and then unstressed. No, iambic is unstressed followed by stress, but this is the reverse. First stress followed by unstressed. So this is a trochee. Here, no country, it is iambic. Let's see the description. Easy for all of us. The first line begins with a trochee. Foot, first syllable stressed, first syllable stressed, second unstressed. With emphasis on the first word. And iambic foot follows. But then there is a pyric, no stress. Look, this is trochee, this is iambic. Not stressed, stressed. Here there is no stress. Dry for no stress. So that is a pyric food. Pyric food. Old man, the young. Let's see. Holus and pyric, no stress, and spondy, double stress. So when there is a stress test called spondy, which reinforces the old pen. The final foot is again iambic. So there's a mixture of meters. Okay, enjambment carries this first line on into the second, which that is for enjambment. Like this comma, particularly this line, there's a comma. So this is what's being talked about. This one. So we are skipping this, and therefore I've sailed the seas and come. What is that? To the holy city of Byzantium. So there's a let's look at this again. Two other different lines taken from another stranger, different stranger. And there, look at this. And there, therefore, have sailed the seas and come. The holy sea. Can you say Lisi? What should be it? Or what should the type? Lisi. I guess it should be pyric, because there's no stress here. And this is definitely not iambic. This is anapestic because there are 3 syllables. See. Let's see the description. This aspect of poetic analysis is not that interesting. Normally people or students avoid this section most of the times. They have a tendency to bypass this kind of analysis. But as you are students of linguistics and you're doing a course on morphology, and morphology is something like a bit intricate, complex, not that much. So that's why it is being kind of easy for you to actually concentrate on this, because for some people even they don't tend to concentrate on this. They always avoid this rhetorics and philosophy. Okay, okay. First is a pure iambic pentameter line. Pure iambic pentameter. So it is unstressed, A unstressed, T there stressed. For I is a pure iambic pentameter, which with that regular unstressed and stressed pattern, a rarity followed by a line that begins with an anapest and ends with the quiet pyric or stress. Like I said, like they have the analyst has jumped to from this to this. First is iambic and then anapestic. Talking about this first foot, he or she has jumped. So followed by a little line that begins with an anapest and ends with a pyric stresses plus that extra beat of the 11th syllable, which makes the line bit away. So kind of I've seen some features of this. So in fact, my target was only this much, to show you some syllabic patterns out of the Riemann poem, and in a poem how poet mixes the meters, metrical structure, and how this kind of analysis is very difficult for amateurish students, or even if students are very serious and devoted literature lovers, passionate literature lovers, still they may be a bit thwarted. They might feel thwarted. I mean, disappointed to see this intricacy of this structural patterns. So that's it. But once you get familiar, get to know a few analysis, then your confidence stood up. Into confidence, so that's why I. And you have also seen some. You have been familiar with some other terms. Perhaps these terms you knew already, as you have in German. So from these 2 point of view perspectives, you will analyze this poem, Sailing to Byzantium. So with this, I'm ending our analysis of Byzantium. And The next class I'll be teaching.
So perspective means, sir, perspective means
thematic.
only chronological.
No, thematic. Two perspective means one is thematic and another one is
Thematic
stylistic.
and
Stylistic, or you can say rhetorical, prosodical analysis. Prosodical, rhetorical is a part of phonological, right? Broadly. So we can call it a stylistic analysis, but not fully as the analysis of second coming. That is your syllabus for the test. So thematic is stylistic. Thematic and stylistic analysis. So,
but in stylistics there is only phonological.
Right.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
No. There was also semantic, syntactic also.
A bit, yeah.
The last one was, sir, the last term was what was it?
Last term was prosodical. Prosodical, syntactic, yes, syntactic a bit.
There is syntactic, a bit syntactic. But yeah. There was an example that you said, the three lines connected with each other. That is right. Syntactic. Example of syntactic.
Right. Yeah. Casura and Japan. In Japan,
yes, sir.
Casura. So these are kind of punctuation syntactic related to syntax. Not grammatical.
Yes, sir. And metaphors metaphors are also semantic. Metaphors.
Yeah, right. You're right.
Metaphor is semantic.
Yeah.
So there is phonological, syntactical, and semantic.
Exactly. It's kind of touch on all these aspects. Yes. Not detailed, but just kind of tangential analysis. Tangential, partly partial. Okay, so with this, I want to stop this. I would like to introduce a new point in the next week. Next week is tomorrow is a test on the second coming.
It's a Viva
of the statistics. So next week we introduce a new one, and that will be either from TEDx or from Dylan Thomas. Let's see. I'll send it in advance to you. So now I'd like to quickly do our linguistic. Let's see how much you can do that. Definitely not take long today. So I think we should go without any break.
Linguistic class.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to. Opening some file. Just a second. Okay, we might go for a time out, so please reconnect. Obviously, we're going to. So, look at the screen, you'll see, just a second. So, okay, morphology exceptions. So, first, some exceptions, then one example of polysynthetic, new example of polysynthetic, then our job will be done today. Morphology exception. First one is irregular alternates. So far, you got to know. I'm talking about exclusively morphology. I'm talking about exclusively about morphology. Definition of morphology, you did well in the last paper, pretty well, more or less. And that you learned about that, the classification, vowel morpheme, free morpheme, etc., flexional morpheme, derivational morpheme, etc. Now, added to those, there are some exceptional morphology categories. These are types. So this you can relate with those categories that you have learned at the beginning, and you did pretty well. Caption also pretty well. Seem to you have captioned them pretty well. The irregular consonants, for example, knife. So when you make knife plural, then you know definitely it's different. So S or yes or IES. So you cannot find here the cries or cats, dogs, like that. So it is different. So it is called, you put this under this term, irregular consonant. Then when you make plural, knives. What is the plural of knife?
Knives.
What is the plural? Yes, right. Leaves also same. So this is irregular consonant. So perhaps you remember I used two more terms, morph and allomorph, right? You remember that. Morph is a whole set of variations in the morphemes. Like this morpheme has inflectional changes. So that's called morph. For example, cry, cries. This one is cried. All three, cry, cries, cried. All three different form of morphemes is added. All inflectional, like ET, IES. So these together are called morphs. Allomorph is their variation of pronunciation. It's called allomorph. So similarly, knife, leaves, some people have called them morph or allomorph because they are related to that cats, dogs. These are just all differences, knives, leaves. Okay, some experts have put them together with those morphs. So they haven't actually differentiated this or considered these as different. So next time we are getting down to is suppletive. So another new type. Get this box. The box is what? Oxen. Oxen, right? It is another difference. And so this kind of plural form you can put under suppletive. This is another term. Categorize these exceptional types of this word. So again, like I said, this can be considered as allomorph, just like cats, dogs, oxen. This can be considered as one of the variety of those sets, like cat, like rice, right? Here, so definitely this is an inflectional morpheme. Yeah. Next is zero allomorph, another category.
There is no inflection.
There is no inflection, exactly. Like sheep, deer, like heat, cut, put. Heat, cut, put, verbs. All three forms are same. Past form, present form. And this is the noun. And plural is also same. Deer, sheep, furniture. So these are called zero allomorph.
Zero allomorph.
Right. There is zero morpheme here. Next is empty morph. Another exception, empty morph. The empty morph is there's a similarity. Children and this oxen. See, oxen and children are similar, but here there is an extra R, and they have the analysts, the morphological analysts have separated this, or you can say analyzed this children that they have separated child and then they have separated on the right side the suffix "n", and they have put "r" quite alone, and they have identified "r" as dependent, number one dependent, and not only dependent morpheme, but also bound morpheme. They haven't considered "r" even bound morpheme. They have considered "r" not even a morpheme. So "r" is not a morpheme. Child is a morpheme, is a root, and "n" is a suffix, it's a morpheme, but "r" is quite an additional letter, and it's not a morpheme. So that kind of word, letter like "r" is an empty morph because it's not a morpheme at all.
So that means in what children are it's empty morph.
Right, empty morph. "R" is empty, and it is not a morpheme. That's the example. So these are the exceptional, some of the exceptional morphemes.
So, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Sir, what is the difference between empty morph and zero morph? Hello?
In zero morph, okay, I get it. I got it. Here's the answer in one word. One of the words, that is, in zero morph, you don't find any morpheme, any additional morpheme. Like sheep,
Yes, sir.
no additional morpheme. That is called zero morph. Empty morph is there is a letter. Empty morph is there is understandably and evidently
Empty.
right. But there is a letter, but it doesn't mean anything. It is not a morpheme. So that's why it is an empty morph.
Means I would like to say that zero morph is totally zero. There is no letter. And empty morph, there is no morph, but there are some letters, 2 or 1 letters.
True.
Isn't it, sir?
Yeah, you're right. This is what I was talking.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so these are the exceptional things. Anyway, now last of all, I'd like to just call your attention to one example of polysynthetic language. Then we'll finish. One other example. Yes. Okay, this one. Linguistic typology, polysynthetic. Just to take 4 minutes max. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Linguistic typology, polysynthetic languages are